Tennis may look like an individual sport, but behind the scenes there's a team of experts analysing every aspect of the game.
With the help of the team behind Britain's top tennis pros, we're going to take a deep dive into all the strategies, techniques and tactics used at the top of the game to help you improve your game.
On serve, women win about 57% of points, but actually when they approach the net and finish the point at the net, that jumps to 67%.
Ooh. The hop, you're going to go here. If you're right-handed, yeah, it's a left-left hop. But again, it's great to again take more time away.
Hello and welcome back to the National Tennis Centre and to another episode of Inspired By. I'm here today joined again by LTA coach and my personal coach now, Matt James, and for the first time this series, LTA performance analyst Toby West. Good morning to you both.
Morning. Morning.
Let's take a deep dive into the world of professional tennis. Toby, welcome. You've had a really busy and exciting couple of weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. In a good way though. We had a lot of players getting through the rounds in Surbiton last week and Katie Swan making the final, which was brilliant to see. And then we've got a lot of British players in Nottingham, so a really good couple of weeks, yeah.
First ever main tour title for Katie Bolter.
Oh, it's looking good for the future of the Brits. Come on, right. Let's get into what we're focusing on today. Timing, controlling tempo and pace, and really controlling the flow of the match to use it as a tool in your armoury as an advantage. Why have you selected this and why is it so crucial in the game?
Well, when we talk about controlling time, you can look at a lot of different elements. It's not just actually taking time away from opponents by hitting kind of more powerful shots. You can actually control the time of the match and slowing things down between points. Obviously you've got a certain number of seconds you're allowed between points, but it might be your advantage to actually try and rush an opponent because they're losing their head a little bit. So maybe you can get an extra few free points if you rush them. So yeah, it's a huge element, especially on the grass where it's generally a quicker surface, so time's a pretty key factor.
You've kind of picked out a few examples. Toby, do you want to start with what you've selected?
Yeah, so this first example is a clip of Jodie Burrage and she's trying to shorten the point by being aggressive early on in the rally. An effective serve and a forehand ball three combo to win the point. So the numbers for players serving, they normally win about 52% of points that are rallies above 3 or more shots. But when you take into account that if they play a forehand on their ball three, that rises to 54%. And if they're attacking on their forehand on ball three, like we've just seen with Jodie there, that hits 68% win rate. So it's a really effective play.
And that's across the board with all players?
Yes, all female players, yes.
So linking to those stats, we see obviously Jodie here looking for the forehand on ball three. So across the board, the forehand actually does come out as a faster shot than the backhand. So when we're talking around taking time away, controlling time, you're going to be able to rush opponents a little bit more in the forehand, especially the fact that it's on the grass, it's going to skid a little bit more and it's actually going to be more useful looking for forehand if you can add a few extra mile an hour.
Okay, great example. Toby, what you got for us next?
So this next clip is something that we don't see quite so much in the women's game, but it's a really effective tactic on grass, and that's actually approaching the net. On serve, women win about 57% of points, but actually when they approach the net and finish the point at the net, that jumps to 67%.
Ooh.
And this is a really good example of Emily Appleton taking time away from her opponent by approaching the net.
Matt, why is it that we see women tend to serve and then approach the net less than the men?
Well, this is quite a good example of Emily actually using that tactic, using her big first serve. Obviously, she's put Katie under a little bit of pressure, who's having to slice, and then gets a short ball in response that allows her then to have a really good opportunity to come forward. One of the main differences is that we just see the guys being able to have that opportunity a little bit more because of the speed of serve being slightly higher.
Got it.
So if they hit their spot with that, you know, 140 mile an hour serve coming down, the guys returning will generally have a little bit of a shorter response. So the opportunity on ball three is just a little bit higher. Whereas when the points are being played, especially on the grass now, you'll actually see a little bit more similar that they're coming to the net and trying to finish points more often than other surfaces.
Got it. Okay, great. Toby, next up.
Yeah, so this next example is kind of the opposite actually. This is an example of Harriet Dart slowing down the point to force her opponent into playing that extra shot. You'll see she gets into a really defensive position, but plays a slow, high ball back, really nice and deep as well. just to force her opponent to playing that extra shot, and then ends up winning the rally. And this is a really effective technique, especially when you're returning. If you can extend that rally beyond 9 points, our data shows that if you win that point, the likelihood of the server winning the next point does drop. So it's really important to fight and stay in the point.
Harriet does such a good job here of giving herself time when she's in a little bit of trouble. This one off a slice, really high ball, good depth. Interestingly, Harriet's actually sitting a little bit deeper as well. So we saw Jodie earlier hugging the baseline. Harriet's actually probably 2 or 3 yards behind. So again, the shot's giving her time, her positioning is giving her time as well. So it keeps her in these rallies. Players, they're not just practicing kind of 1 or 2 shots. There's so many elements to this game, which is why they obviously practice so hard and put a lot of hours on the court.
Really amazing to see how they can dominate a game through use of time and tempo. Thank you so much to you both. Toby, you are released. All right, I guess it's time to put the idea of time and tempo into practice on court with me and Matt.
So we're controlling time today. We saw Harriet with a really good example earlier on the backhand side where she hit nice shape, gave herself some time. She was a little bit deeper on the court, okay, so probably 2 yards behind the baseline. So we're going to put you through that now, okay? So a couple of things I've already mentioned. We're going to go a little bit more shape than normal.
Okay, so a bit loftier.
A bit loftier, okay, because you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Okay, that's obviously where you need to gain a little bit of time back to be able to recover.
But then wouldn't my opponent just smash it back at me, or I have to just, whatever, I've got to get through this shot first?
Well, that's why we need the execution to be good enough,
Oh,
okay?
God.
Because if you go just loft and it lands short, they will actually then take time away from you, and obviously they're going to have a bit more space. Whereas if you go loft, good execution, if anything, push them back,
Right.
you'll have time to recover and be in a pretty good position.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
So, and I get back to the mid-centre of the baseline.
So then you're going to recover to a pretty good space,
Right.
hopefully.
Okay.
So we're going to talk around one element being the height of the ball that you're hitting, okay? And then we're going to go a little bit of technical around how you can hit that shot, okay? So let's go with the technical side. So imagine that we're in a little bit of trouble, okay? Remember last week we were talking about the lateral movement?
Yes.
Yeah, when you're in a, almost going out here. That's it with the
going,
steps.
yeah.
Now we're in a bit of trouble. We're actually going to go diagonally back, okay? So we're giving ourselves a little bit more time already to help the shot, okay? In a similar way, we're going to go wide base again, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the racket, okay? So we want to get under the ball today, okay? So when we get back here, we're thinking that loft. We're now thinking dropping the knee a little bit, dropping the racket, and obviously going up the ball as much as we can. Okay?
Got it. I mean, sure, easy, no problem, done.
Look at this.
High
You've
five.
actually given yourself so much time to get back.
But would that give my opponent too much time as well, a little bit?
Yeah, so for that height, it would almost be if you were really, really struggling.
Right.
You're actually getting behind the ball and you could probably hit an even better shot.
Fine.
For that shot, I need to put you in real trouble.
No need.
Excellent. Good height. Give yourself a little bit of time to get back.
Cool. On to the next one.
So now we're going to look at actually taking time away.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
We saw a lot of examples on the grass court of the approach shots. That's going to happen a little bit more on the grass. People trying to take time away and use the court to put a lot of pressure on. And one of the main things about taking time away, we're doing it because A, we want to be able to have a better contact point.
Okay.
Okay, if I'm inside the court, this is going to be more beneficial than trying to hit from here. Okay, but also if every split second I take away, they're going to be under more pressure and I can actually give them even less space on the court to try and pass me. All right, so we're actually going to look at the approach shot. Last week we looked at the footwork where you were kind of in this position.
Yes.
So this is again a great position for the approach because momentum will go forward. We're going to look at the hop as well. Okay, and you can choose which one you use, but the hop, you're going to go here. If you're right-handed, yeah, it's a left-left hop. But again, it's great to again take more time away. What we're trying to avoid is being open here, thinking that, okay, I like taking my forehands from this position, but then actually I'm not going to gain much.
Stuck and I
I'm
can't.
stuck here. I'm giving them more time, okay, because I'm not going to be able to hit probably as good of a shot from open.
Right.
And it's going to take me longer to get them to the net.
We're working our way to the front. We're not going to retreat and go back.
No, definitely not. For every split second it takes me to get to the net, they've actually got more space now to pass me.
So this is a really key example of dictating play using time.
Yeah, completely. Now,
Cool.
now we're looking at taking time away and putting all the pressure on the opponent. Okay,
Great, I'm the dictator, let's go.
let's do it. Ready? Sit forward through the ball. Good. Excellent. That's it, forward. Good. Great work, excellent work today.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed that. I'm feeling much more confident now in my time management on court. Thank you too for watching. There'll be another brand new episode of Inspired by next week. And for more exclusive content, check out Advantage.